When the First World War ended in 1919, the greatest question facing Europe was not merely how to establish peace, but also how to ensure that such a devastating war would never happen again. Millions of people had lost their lives during the war. Entire cities had been reduced to ruins, and Europe's political order had been completely transformed. But among all these countries, if any nation had paid the most terrible price of the war, it was France. Most of the major battlefronts of the war had been fought on French soil. Many towns and villages in northern and eastern France had been almost completely destroyed. Farmland had been devastated, factories stood abandoned and silent, bridges and railway lines had been destroyed. The deaths of millions of soldiers and civilians had left the entire nation in deep shock. Therefore, when the war came to an end, the most important question facing France was, how could its security be guaranteed? French leaders believed that if Germany became powerful again in the future, Europe could once again return to the same destruction. This fear was not merely imaginary. Over the previous 50 years, France and Germany had fought several wars against each other. France's defeat in the Franco-Prussian War of 1870-71, followed by the devastation of the First World War. These two events convinced France that keeping Germany under control was essential for its national security. For this reason, Germany became the central focus of France's entire post-war policy. France wanted Germany's military power to be restricted so severely that it would no longer be capable of attacking any neighboring country in the future. Simply ending the war was not enough. France wanted a system that could keep its borders secure for many years to come. Because of this thinking, France supported imposing strict military restrictions on Germany in the Treaty of Versailles. The size of the German army was severely limited. Heavy weapons, tanks, and air force and submarines were prohibited. The Rhineland was declared a demilitarized zone, so that Germany could not concentrate a large military force near France's border. For France, these were not merely rules on paper. Its leaders believed that if Germany were given the opportunity to become militarily strong again, the same threat could reappear within a few years, the very threat that had plunged all of Europe into war. But security was not limited to the military alone. France understood that modern wars were not won by soldiers alone. Strong industries, steel factories, coal production, and economic resources also formed the foundation of military power. Therefore, France was also closely monitoring Germany's industrial capacity. It feared that if German industries recovered rapidly, those same industries could once again begin producing weapons in the future. The war had also caused enormous damage to France's economy. Thousands of kilometers of railway lines had been destroyed, industries stood idle, and enormous financial resources were needed for reconstruction. Therefore, France demanded war reparations from Germany. Its argument was that the country which had started the war and caused such immense destruction should also bear the cost of reconstruction. The people of France wanted the same. Families who had lost their sons, people whose homes had been destroyed, and farmers whose land had been devastated by the war. They wanted Germany to pay the price for what it had done. Therefore, demanding reparations from Germany was not merely a political decision, but was also deeply connected to the emotions of the people. However, not all the Allied nations were as strict as France. Britain's approach, in particular, was somewhat different. Britain believed that Germany needed to be kept under control, but completely destroying it economically and politically could create new problems in the future. Even so, France was not prepared to take any risks regarding its security. France began placing special emphasis on protecting its borders. Security measures in the border regions were strengthened. The French army was reorganized, and new military plans were developed with future threats in mind. France also sought to ensure that other European countries understood its security concerns and support the restrictions imposed on Germany. At the same time, France also worked toward international cooperation. Its objective was not only to strengthen its own military, but also to create a diplomatic system, in which, if a new threat emerged in the future, other countries would also stand by its side. This way of thinking led to the creation of several security agreements and alliances in the years that followed. However, this strict policy also began to produce another consequence. Within Germany, a large number of people began to view these restrictions as a national humiliation. They felt that even after the war had ended, their country was still being punished. Economic hardships, unemployment, and political instability gradually made these feelings even stronger. This was where a new problem began to emerge for Europe. France wanted to strengthen its security, while growing resentment in Germany was becoming a new threat for the future. On one hand, there was a genuine need for security. On the other hand, the unintended consequences of harsh policies were also beginning to appear. At that time, France believed its decisions were justified, because for France the most important question was, could it protect its citizens from ever having to face the horrors of war again? Its entire policy revolved around this objective. But history is not shaped by immediate security alone. Many times, decisions made in the present give rise to new circumstances in the future. The restrictions imposed on Germany and the harsh reparations helped establish peace in Europe, but they also created conditions whose effects grew even deeper in the years that followed. Meanwhile, differences between Britain and France over Germany also became increasingly clear. Both countries were allies, but they had different priorities regarding Germany's future. These disagreements would go on to shape European politics and the post-war peace system in profound ways. In the next chapter, we will understand why Britain adopted a relatively balanced policy toward Germany and why it feared that excessively harsh terms could create new problems for Europe in the future.